Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by Dr. Jim Shames with Jackson County Public Health. Dr. Shames, good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
All right,
Thanks.
So we're talking today about Zika, and I know we've been talking to you about Zika seemingly daily. So how long has Zika actually been around?
It was discovered in 1946. We discovered it in monkeys, and then we realized that occasionally people got the virus, but it remained kind of an oddity until about 10 years ago when there was an outbreak in Polynesia. And then we became aware of the virus, that it could be a potential a significant disease for humans. And then just last year, a very large outbreak in Brazil that spread very quickly brought it to our attention. And then the association between microcephaly, small brain, small head circumference for babies, and the possible connection to Zika made it a very significant illness that we've been paying attention to and trying to learn about ever since.
Okay, and so is it carried or transferred by mosquitoes, but it's not here, only in certain parts of the world?
Correct. It's a mosquito-borne illness like dengue and malaria and yellow fever, and many, many diseases are like that. It belongs to the flavivirus family, of which dengue and yellow fever are members. And there are certain species of mosquitoes that have a relationship with the virus. So the virus will grow inside the mosquito. The mosquito could bite you. You could get the disease. Another mosquito could bite you, pass it to another person. And that's how it's being transmitted. We don't have Aedes aegypti in this area. Okay. It's a tropical mosquito. So as it looks now, this is a tropical disease. Still concern for us because it's a big world out there, and we travel to tropical areas and could come back and be infected and have the disease here. But transmission from person to person seems unlikely. It seems like that's a rare event. And transmission from person to person doesn't look like that is likely to happen here either.
Okay, and so we saw earlier this week in Josephine County there was a suspected case with a mother and her infant. Those tests came back negative this week, but the Oregon Health Authority at the same time said that they confirmed that there is a person infected with Zika here in Oregon.
Correct.
But not a public health concern here in Jackson County in Southern Oregon?
No, I think it's an important message that we need to get out to the public, especially people that are going to be traveling to tropical areas. For example, the Summer Olympics is going to be in Brazil this year, and I think people need to know how to protect themselves.
Okay, very good. And the best way to do that is?
The best way to protect yourself is to realize that you want to avoid mosquito bites. So number one, we all need to reduce mosquito breeding areas, which is any still body of water. You want to wear long-sleeved clothes when you can. You want to go to sleep and stay in netted areas or air-conditioned areas and use mosquito repellent. These mosquitoes that carry this disease are day-biting mosquitoes, so dawn to dusk and sometimes during the middle of the day as well. So I think armed with that information, really being fastidious about using mosquito repellents. If you are pregnant, if you are planning to be pregnant, and you can avoid going to these areas, which really at this point are most of the tropics and the Americas, below the United States, then if you can put off that travel, I would do so.
Okay, and this is something that obviously, as you mentioned, has been around for some time, but it seems to be evolving, or we're learning more about it almost daily. Is that right?
It seems to be evolving. It could also be a matter of it's now come to our region. The virus was originally in Uganda, and then it seemed to move to the Pacific Islands, and then it moved to South America. So there is some degree of just kind of luck of when the virus gets here. There's been some warming trends worldwide, and that may contribute. The virus may have mutated some. We're on a steep learning curve, as I've said, about this virus. Really, it has been less than a year that we've seen this huge outbreak in Brazil, and we're still trying to learn what we can about it.
Okay, and when it comes to the effects, you mentioned the infants and the babies and all of that, but for the most part, it's pretty mild, or no one sees the effects for the most part.
80% of the people who get Zika virus don't even know they have it.
Okay.
Of the 20% that get symptoms, it's usually a low-grade fever, a rash, joint pains, conjunctivitis. And there is an association that has not yet completely been confirmed between microcephaly, small head in newborns, and coexistent viral infection. We are still trying to put all the pieces of that together. And then there's a disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a progressive paralysis, which is almost always self-limiting, but is associated with this virus as well.
Okay. Well, I know how busy you are and taking a lot of questions on this. Appreciate you sharing 5 minutes with our viewers. Thanks so much.
You betcha.
All right.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.